Hey everybody, I know it's been a while. So much stuff is going on. I've been caught up with what's going on in the manosphere, the tater tots, the YouTube daddies. So Andrew Tate, leader of the Red Pills, him along with Kevin Samuels. Anyway, he has all of these terrible, I believe they're true, charges in Romania, human trafficking, all kind of shit, right? That's not important. He's a bad guy. But he's the leader of these incels and these manosphere people and all of these men who blame women for all of their problems and stuff. This is like their leader, right? That's why we call him Tater Tots, because his name is Andrew Tate. Anywho, it's just been a lot going on. The wealthy people in the submarine, they ran out of air on Thursday morning. Now they found debris. There's about 9 of them, $250,000 a seat. One set was a father and a son. The son is 19. I've been consumed with that. Ask me why. I don't know. The submarine that went to the Titanic with 9 white, wealthy billionaires or millionaire men. Anyway, anybody who has $250,000 of play money, I'm gonna call you a billionaire, right? That has consumed me because of people who their play money is $250,000. Like, that's where I aspire and strive to be. And I've heard this one time, and not saying I'm going to get there. I'm a realist. I don't think I'll ever get there unless Jeff Bezos wants a middle-aged, fat, black woman who's hit since one higher than the other. And I come with 2 biracial kids living in New York, right? So as long as he that's the only way I see I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm not that creative. I'm not going to invent something. And even if I do invent it, I'm not motivated enough to dedicate my whole life to it and struggle in the pursuit of having my invention out there. I'm not that girl. I strive to be average. And it pisses off my mother when I say that she was like, don't you want your kids to be this? And don't you want your kids to be that? I'm like, nope. I strive for mediocrity. Mediocrity to me is not an insult. To my mother, it's like saying, fuck you and spitting in her face. Mediocrity, to be mediocre is to be average. I want to be average. I don't want to be famous. I do these YouTube videos, like I said earlier in my videos, it's cathartic for me. And my brain is so full of information that if I don't get it out, I feel like I'm going to pop, right? And I don't have many friends. I don't think I have any friends. And my family is nil, like nil, right? There's a lot of us, but nobody's talking. So my family consists of my husband, my children, my mother, pretty much it. My uncle, he's far away. He's living his own life. That's the nearest, closest person I'm close to as far as blood relation. So anyway, I have adopted Facebook and my YouTube channel as my friends. That's why I say, hey friends, right? It's fine with me. So I strive for mediocrity. I strive to be average because anything else to me is a plus and not guaranteed. I think living in America, you pretty much are guaranteed mediocrity. Literally guaranteed mediocrity, no matter where you live or no matter how you start. There is a way for you to do certain things to guarantee for you to be average. And let me give you a few explanations. Let's go to the bottom of the bottom. You are from cow kicker poo shit square state. Your nearest neighbor is 2 miles away. Farm shit, dirt life. Poor. Okay? That is below. It is at the bottom. Let's say the bottom of the bottom. When you turn 18, there is a guaranteed way for you to live an average life. It's called the military. Talk to any of these people who join the military. There are a few reasons why people join the military. And if you look at the graduation lineup in Paris Island, it is black and brown kids. You might have a few legacy whites here and there. Those are the ones that graduate with a rank higher than the black and the browns because they came in with a degree. You know, they already came in with their 4-year degree and they've already been groomed for the military, right? They're going to be a white shirt. But if you look at the faces, they are all black and browns. And if you read the tags, it is Thompson, Johnson, Garcia, Hernandez, Flores, Fernandez, Ruiz, Smith, black and brown. They will go on to have military careers with substantial income to guarantee a middle class life. That is a surefire way to get out of poverty. That is guaranteed. If you join the military and you keep your head low and your nose clean, you are guaranteed a house, a car, 2.5 kids, everything. Guaranteed based on pay. It doesn't matter what race you are, man or woman, the military is an easy out to guarantee middle class life, and you don't need money to get it. You don't need to take out any loans. You don't need to pay anything. You're middle class. You're out of shit, kicker, poo, square state. Another way, and it takes you signing over your life for 30 years and paying a student loan if you go to a private college, is college. You could go to shit, kicker, poo, start off at a community college, work your way up to a 4-year college, get a job, middle class life. You're working in an office. You're an accountant. Accountants get hired whether you're black, white, brown, doesn't matter, man or woman accountant. Or IT. I think IT and numbers are non-discriminatory. Now, you could go on and be above average and go be a doctor. That's possible too. But I'm saying guaranteed average life, 4-year degree. Right? America gives that to you. They give that to you. They give you a way that even if you start from the most humblest beginnings, you can be guaranteed a middle class life. Now, whether you choose to do that or not is up to you. Does it take hard work and sacrifice and blood, sweat, and tears to make it in the military? Absolutely. But you don't want to live in shit, kicker, poo, square state no more. So you're going to do it. Now, my beginnings were humble, but it wasn't the humblest. Okay? Apparently, there was a point in time where me and my mama was poor. I never felt it because she took on debt and I didn't feel the poorness. I didn't go hungry. I never went to bed hungry. I never had, I got shoes and clothes. I never felt it. I didn't feel it. Now, I wasn't wearing Jordans and $200, $300 sneakers, but whatever Sims and Century 21 had, I had some Nikes, some Nikes from Sims and some Nikes from Century 21. I had clothes from Sims and Century 21, right? So I wasn't in the latest hip hop urban fashion. I got some Tommy here and there, right? Some Timberlands and a JanSport book bag. I wasn't poor. Apparently, she ain't had no money for all these years when she was out of work. I never felt it. Good job, Mom. So my beginnings were humble, but they weren't the humblest. And I have a middle class life. And that is what I aspire to. I think the minimum in America is a middle class life. That is pretty much guaranteed to you, a middle class life. Now, if you choose to do anything else or deviate from things given to you to have this middle class life, then that's a choice. That's not based on circumstance. Because the poorer you are, the more doors that open for you, especially in America. The poorer you are, your college is free. Now we're not talking Harvard and Princeton, but we're talking about, I'm in New York, so we're talking about CUNY and SUNY. All right, you could get financial aid. You could do work study. You're graduating loan free, 4-year degree. Okay, maybe, and the poorer you are, the more doors that open for you. I don't know if this is real, if it's still real, but if you live in the projects, don't you go to CUNY for free? I'm gonna check that once I get off. But when I went to school, when I was in high school, I think the CUNY kids, the kids who decided to go to CUNY, if they had a project address, they went for free. I gotta double check that. Or if they were a foster care kid, they went for free. So if you are a foster care kid or you live in the projects, shouldn't everybody in the projects have a degree from CUNY? But they don't, because nobody want to do the work. And then they blame, oh, I'm this and that, but you got to do the work. You want a middle class life, you got to go in the military, you got to study your ass off, go to school, go whatever. But there are options, there are lanes in America to guarantee you a middle class life. Regardless, and do I say racism doesn't exist? No. But regardless of race or gender, you can be middle class. Now, if we're talking about anything other than middle class, there's no guarantees. None. If anything, is a motherfucking unicorn. Will I ever be president? No. No. Am I ever going to be a billionaire? No. The only way I'm going to be a billionaire is if I get the matching ticket for a lottery ticket that's over $1 billion. That's the only way I'm going to be a billionaire. That way, lotto, where the jackpot is over $1 billion, or Jeff Bezos wants me, marries me, and I divorce him. We ain't got no prenup, and I leave with $1 billion. Other than that, I'm not Madam CJ Walker. I'm not that girl. I'm not being a billionaire. I'm gonna have a middle class life where I work to retirement, and I bought my house late in life, later than the baby boomers. So in 30 years, I'll be 70. My house will be paid off by the time I'm 70, almost 70. And then my Social Security and my 401k and my investments will pay my taxes and have me retire until I die. Because what's the average age after retirement? 5 years, 8 years? Yeah, I'm not making it past that. So I'm going to die at 78 like I'm supposed to, with my house paid off in a trust to my kids. Boom. Done. Middle class. Average. Nothing special. Like, I was talking to my husband, like, don't you want to be famous? And we both looked at each other like, no, I don't want to be famous. Why do people strive to be famous? I don't want to be famous at all. No. I want my guaranteed right as an American citizen of mediocrity and put some salt on it. Maybe let me be a little bit better than average, just so I could live a softer life. That's it. That's it. Mama's like, don't you want your kids to be? No, I want my kids to be happy. My number one thing is happiness. And for my mother and other people out there, education, indoctrination into the gang of Christianity. This is what you want your kids to be, not me. I want my kids to be happy. You know why I want them to be happy first? Because I work in a school and I know what these kids do. When they're academically perfect, but they're cutting themselves in the bathroom. I don't want that. I want a B student who's all around happy with appropriate coping skills so that they cannot be bullied. Because I know this is going to sound bad. One, I don't agree that adults could be bullied. Could somebody be bullying you? Yes, somebody could be bullying you, but can you be bullied? No. And that's probably why, because I'm American. Like, I could say Johnny is bullying me, but I'm not being bullied. Those two things are two separate things. You could be throwing it at me, spitting all the vitriol at me, and it could be like, pardon the old term, but water off a duck's back. You could definitely be the recipient, or not even the recipient, because that means you take it, the intended target of somebody's hate and vitriol and bullying tactics, but it could have zero effect on you. Absolutely. Absolutely can. I was, people were bullying me in school. Would I say I was bullied? Absolutely not. And let me tell you why. One, if you were bullying me, it was for two reasons. If you were a guy, if you were a kid, a male kid bullying me, it's because you liked me. And if you were a girl bullying me, you were jealous of me. So I got pleasure, pleasure in it. And I remember when I was becoming that girl in high school, I had a bunch of these girls. We were all friends since middle school, and they kind of veered off into their own trio and left me out. And I know why they left me out. I didn't fit their mold anymore. I was cuter than them. My ass came in quicker. I had no tits, but I had an ass. My ass came in quicker. I was cuter. I was garnering male attention that they were not. I had a car. I drove to school. I had a job. I had my own money. I was full out line with these niggas that had Lexus, Beamers, and Benzes. I could not be a part of their world anymore. They wouldn't let me. I was an outlier at that point. And I got it. I understood. And I think I've always been geared to like study of the mind and human behavior. The only thing I lack and why I'm not a social worker is empathy. I don't have it. And in this day and age, you can't you can't tell people the way it is. They can't take it. You're being unkind and insensitive. So that's why I never went into professional, take my psychology degree into more, because as I took more and more advanced classes, like, no, I cannot, a patient comes in, and one thing I remember is when I did drug and alcohol counseling. This is another thing why I didn't, because I got my KSAC too. I'm licensed. I'm not licensed. I'm credentialized in a lot of things. I'm not licensed in anything because I dipped my toe into a lot of ponds before I realized dollars and cents is what works for me. And that's why I went and got my MBA, because numbers have no empathy. Budgets have no empathy. It is what it is. It's black and white, and that's me. When they told me that a pregnant woman who comes in and she's still using heroin, and she comes into a treatment center that does mitigation, right? Um, we're not here to cure you. We're here to give you the supplies you need, because you're going to shoot up anyway, and we're going to make sure you're safe by not having to share needles and having a safe place where you're not laying down somewhere and being raped. Yes, they have that in New York, and I'm all for that. I definitely think taxpayers' money should be giving people a safe place to shoot up, because it was taxpayers' money that brought it into the country. Google the Golden Triangle, but do it at the library. Don't do it at your house. Your phone will be tapped. But Google the Golden Triangle in Vietnam. How did heroin get into this country? It was with your taxpayer dollars. So it should be your taxpayer dollars to give them a safe place to shoot up and not be victims of violence and rape that often comes with drugs, right? So I love these centers. However, we were not supposed to give advice as therapists, as counselors. We were not supposed to tell them, hey, you should try to stop using the heroin for the sake of your baby. Or seeing them, or if they came in for methadone, because methadone is the treatment for heroin, we give it to you pregnant because it could be more deadly for you and the baby if you don't get it, right? So the only difference between methadone and heroin is, one, the intensity of the high, and two, methadone is legal. But methadone is heroin. Let's be clear. It's just taxed and regulated and very fucking expensive. So America can make money off of it. But it does get you high, but the high isn't the same as shooting up heroin. Because if you ever hung out by a methadone clinic and they get their it's like a I mimic it too. If you ever was a kid, when you was a kid and you got antibiotics, it came in that pink um bubble gum flavored thick. That's how methadone is. So you did all of that, and we wasn't able to say, hey, you're here for your methadone, but why are you smoking these cigarettes 9 months pregnant outside of the facility before you come in? We weren't allowed to say that, and I'm like, fuck that, I can't do that. So that's why I went into business. But anyway, um it's okay with being mediocre. It is okay. This is America. If you're listening to me, you're in America. This is America. Your goal in life is to be mediocre. That is just the first step. If you get to mediocrity and you're there and you want to go somewhere else, that's different. But as a kid, we need to teach our kids to be average. We're pumping their heads full of these unrealistic goals. Like Charles Barkley said, he goes into a inner city school and 90% of them want to be an athlete, but like it's a fraction, or like out of millions of kids that play basketball, only 400 are in the NBA. And then you go to a affluent school with white people and money, and these kids want to be doctors and lawyers. Why are we not teaching them to be doctors and lawyers? We're not teaching them because we're not teaching them. They're going by what they see, and they see black and browns being football and baseball players. But I didn't see my first black doctor until I was 27. And not because I wasn't looking for a black doctor. There were no black doctors. And if they were, they weren't near me. I saw Rosenberg, Goldenblatts, a lot of Indian doctors. Brown, I saw Brown, they were Indian. But a black American, I didn't see my first female black American doctor till I was 27. Now I see them now. But in the 80s and 90s, nah, they were unicorns. Mediocrity is okay. It's okay.